You're watching Chat Sports. I am Tom Downey, and the XFL Draft really gets going tomorrow on Wednesday. We will be live for day one of the XFL Draft, breaking down all the picks, so skill positions, some offensive linemen, and we need to spread the word that we'll be live for it. So share this video if you want to join us for our XFL Draft Live coverage and to tell your friends so we can have a nice fun party on an early Wednesday morning for the XFL Draft. We're about to break down the quarterback draft picks made today for all 8 teams, 2 for each except for the very last team we'll talk about. But in the meantime, share this video, Twitter, Facebook, text, you name it, share it right now. We're going to begin with the only players we know who are assigned and drafted by XFL teams. That is the quarterback positions. We'll go team by team in the order the XFL announced them earlier today and have some brief conversation on each player. The Arlington Renegades, Drew Plitt, the former Ball State quarterback and who actually played pretty well in the preseason this year for the Bengals after Joe Burrow had his appendix removed, and kind of classic bounce around these lesser league QBs and in the NFL a little bit too, Kyle Sloter. That's a decent grouping there, and I wonder if Kyle will end up winning that job. You know the Arlington Renegades coach, by the way. They were the Dallas Renegades the last time the XFL returned before they ran out of money. Bob Stoops is the next man up there for the XFL. Very curious to see how that plays out. XFL, USFL had some issues in recent years between money issues and COVID. Hopefully this time it's better with Dwayne Johnson in charge. The Houston Roughnecks are next up. Kaleb Eleby, who played at Western Michigan. I kind of liked him as a sleeper coming out of Western Michigan. Not a great arm like that dinged him, not great size. He could be a good player, though, for the Houston Roughnecks. Brandon Silvers also at that as an option, a Troy quarterback there. Wade Phillips is their head coach. Definitely a name you guys know quite well. Curious how that quarterback, I'm going to assume everyone is a battle outside of like maybe 1 or 2 guys. We'll see how that plays out, I'm sure, in a little bit. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we will be live for the XFL Draft tomorrow, Wednesday morning. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Don't miss out. We'll have some fun, play some drinking games, and we'll bring back the I drink if I don't know the name. We did it for, I think it was the USFL was the last one we did that for. I was hammered at like 5 minutes in the show. It was hilarious. Anyway, subscribe. We'll have some fun at youtube.com/@chatsports. Let's go to the Vegas Vipers now. Jalan McClendon, the former Baylor NC State quarterback. And then Luis Perez, who has bounced around, again, XFL, USFL, has always played pretty well, which I think is worth mentioning from that standpoint. The Vipers are coached by Rod Woodson. That is the former Hall of Fame defensive backs coach. Hasn't done a lot of that in recent years. I will make note specifically for the Vegas Vipers. Their home games have not been announced where they'll be playing. Keep that in mind. We'll go through the other 5 teams here, but which XFL team are you rooting for? I don't really have any true rooting interest. You know, Arlington is the one closest to me. Maybe that's the route I'll go. They'll be playing at the old Globe Life Field, by the way, renamed to Choctaw Stadium. But let me know, which XFL team are you guys going to be cheering for? Drop that team name at the pinned comments of today's show. If the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there. Let us know. The Orlando Guardians are next up here. Quentin Dormandy, the former Tennessee quarterback, went to Central Michigan, had some success at the MAC. And Deondre Francois, who I think you might recognize, former Florida State QB, had some off-the-field stuff, goes to Hampton, now sticking around in the Florida area with the Guardians. Their coach is Terrell Buckley, the former top 5 NFL draft pick, left a DB's coaching job at Ole Miss to come over to the XFL and lead their head coaching situation. Let's go now to the San Antonio Brahmas. If you're going, what the hell is a Brahma? It's basically a chicken. Even though their logo looks a lot more like a longhorn to me than it does a chicken, but maybe that's intentional for San Antonio. They're the Fighting Chickens. I don't know if I want to cheer for them or cheer less for them. Juwan Pass, the former Louisville quarterback, elite name, by the way, he's in there. Anthony Russo, Temple product as well. A lot of transferred quarterbacks, by the way, on this list. You know their head coach, too. Hines Ward, who got interviewed for the Houston Texans job. That will never not be funny. That's almost as bad as Jeff Saturday being interviewed for getting the interim head coaching job. He was last the FAU wide receivers coach, but that's a much more reasonable jump than heading to the NFL as a head coach. Now, all these players who are in the XFL are trying to get promoted to the NFL, just like P.J. Walker did. They're trying to boost their stock and become the right hire for an NFL team. And if you're hiring for your small business, well, every new hire can feel like a potential high-stakes wager. You want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. That's why you got to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps find the right people for your team faster and for free. It's very easy to post jobs on LinkedIn. Leads to good hires. Producer Nick was a hire we found through LinkedIn Talent Solutions, and we're very pleased with that one. There's your pat on the back for the day, Rolly. Very easy to post the jobs, right? And then you can add your job and your purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you are hiring. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. The year is winding down, and if you're trying to finish the year right, well, you need to be hiring the right person, the right team member, and LinkedIn Talent Solutions helps accomplish that. That's why small businesses rank LinkedIn Jobs number 1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/NFL Daily. That's linkedin.com/NFL Daily to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. Links in the comments section and the description, by the way. Let's go to the St. Louis BattleHawks. Ryan Willis was actually the first announced quarterback by them. That is the Virginia Tech, Kansas transfer, so somewhat local, with at least local enough there. But the name we should all know is A.J. McCarron, perhaps the most notable name in this year's grouping of the quarterbacks. The former Alabama quarterback bounced around the NFL, the Bengals, the Falcons, the Texans. He is back playing football. He'll be coached by Anthony Becht. You might remember him, the former Jets tight end, who spent 1 year as the tight ends coach in the AAFL, if you guys remember that. So we're in a interesting situation with all these different leagues and whatnot. We're very curious how that all plays out there in the end. Now, McCarron is probably going to be the popular answer for who the best quarterback in the XFL is, but I want to hear from you guys. Assuming you know any of them going into this, who do you think is the best QB in the XFL? Final two teams here. The Seattle Sea Dragons. I think the Seattle Dragons is cooler than the Sea Dragons, but that's just me. Two former NFL QBs who were drafted, or almost drafted. Steven Montez, Colorado, played for the Commanders briefly. Ben DiNucci, the Cowboys legend himself, is getting a chance. I think this is the team that's going to have I'm actually not going to say because I remember what was said at the press conference, but someone has hired June Jones to be the OC. Maybe I'll just Google it right now and look smart if I do. The Sea Dragons, though, are coached head coaching-wise. I was right. This is June Jones is where he's at, and sound like a rambling crazy person, right? Jim Haslett's the head coach. You probably remember him, the former Saints guy. And June Jones, the longtime SMU, mostly known for Hawaii, of course, head coach and that fun offense. He's the OC. This is going to be a fun team to watch, by the way. DiNucci has started a game in the NFL. That one game, his rookie year, 23 of 43, 219, 0 scores, some fumbles, some sacks. It wasn't all that great from Nucci, Maine. But the Nooch did play very well in the preseason despite not getting many reps for the Cowboys. This is a big chance for him to show he's at least worthy of a practice squad spot. Keep an eye on DiNucci playing well for the Sea Dragons. Finally, we end on Eric Dungey, the former Syracuse QB, if you remember him. That is the DC Defenders who took him. Now, make note, they only took one QB in this. They were only assigned one QB. I have a theory for why, maybe in a minute here. But the Defenders, coached by Reggie Barlow, the longtime HBCU coach, he only got one QB, Eric Dungey. So for now, I would assume he's the quarterback. I'll make note as part of tomorrow's draft, by the way, the XFL will have an open position period. I bet you'll see quarterbacks get drafted at that point. Now, the name who was on this list of the eligible XFL QBs was De'Aaron King. And I wonder if he was going to end up going somewhere, maybe to the DC Defenders, until yesterday. Yesterday, De'Aaron King signed with the Panthers practice squad a day before the XFL quarterback draft. He'd been on the publicly released QB list, eligible QB list. One of the only ones not taken. That seems significant, and I wonder if him jumping to the NFL has prevented him from joining an XFL team right now.